Hello everybody, I am Angry Bird, back with a new Steel Division League cast today. We have US Prestor John versus DuroSVK and Panzer for the Axis versus 15th Scottish Infantry for the Allies. A nice Axis Allies match for you guys, and actually a nice income matchup as well. Maverick for US Prestor John. Not really seen him play Maverick too often, so it's nice to it will be nice to see this game. Panzer played as a Maverick division, and then Vanguard for DuroSVK. So no flatline in this game, guys. No flatline. We have an Axis versus Allies game, and we have no flatline. Won't you believe it? Right, let's have a look at the decks on the left hand side. Panzer US Prestor John, Maverick income. We've got some 234/1s, some Pumas, and some 234, double card of Pumas, sorry, in A phase. So plenty of nice early recon vehicles. I'm sure we'll see pretty much all of them out very early on. I think Panzer one of the big things about this deck is the 110 point Panther Ds. It's one of the only divisions, it might be the only one, that's actually got 110 point Panthers. And usually you see this being played with Vanguard, because in C phase you get 110 points, so you can still afford a Panther per minute. US Prestor John, he's opted to play Maverick, so I'm guessing, actually looking at the deck, no C phase card whatsoever. So 30 tanks in total. He has those 6 Panthers, along with the Panther D Furas, so that's 9 Panthers in total to take out the 15th Infantry. They'll be relying on Churchill tanks in the main, so the Panthers, they'll have to close the distance a little bit to get through the thick armour of the Churchill, but the Churchill gun shouldn't really pose too much of a problem. It's the 6-pounders and the 17-pounders that the British get access to that's going to be the problem for Panzer and usually you deal with those with artillery, but we don't see any artillery whatsoever from US Prestor John. We do see the IG-18s. They can also be used quite heavily to defeat AT guns, as long as they're within that, they're on the edge of the 2-kilometer range. And the good thing about the Prestor John situation with those IG-18s is the 6-pounders, 17-pounders, they don't have any HE, and also the British don't really have too many support. They don't have support guns, so those IG-18s should be able to stay alive pretty well. The worst thing they're going to come up against is Vickers HMG, which I think is like a 1,200 meter range. So those IG-18s could come into play. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Duro's got some artillery at his disposal. The Focke-Wulf 190s can be used with their bombs to get rid of any AT guns as well. And I think that's probably what Prestor John is going to rely on, tasking those Focke-Wulfs to destroy the enemy AT. So let's look at DuroSVK's deck. Vanguard deck, get this, unbelievable. Vanguard deck, 165 infantry units. What? I mean, come on. 165 infantry units in a Vanguard deck. Who has heard of it? 2 C-phase cards. Duro. I think, although he's playing Vanguard, he wants to drag this game out. That's what it seems like. We mentioned the 6-pounders, the 17-pounders. There are a lot of AT guns, 30 AT guns to get rid of. But the tank engagement does go over to the Panzer overall. We do see some big off maps as well, 1 in A and 2 in B, and not much anti-air. So Duro could see himself, very much under pressure from the skies. Let's just remind ourselves the game is well underway. Let's check out this central engagement first. No, it looks like US Prestor John is going to unload all of his stuff. So quick reminder, US Prestor John on the left hand side in blue, he is playing the Panzer on Maverick Income DuroSVK. On the right hand side in red, he is playing the 15th Scottish Infantry on Vanguard Income. So the early income advantage does go across to DuroSVK. He picks up a 13-11 early on due to this flag in the centre, like not contested in any way, shape or form by US Prestor John. I didn't see whether something came in and perhaps caught it at the last minute. What am I saying? Perhaps an infantry unit came in and got taken down, but very unlikely based on the range of these 6-pounders. So nothing in the centre to contest DuroSVK. I think Prestor John's got most of his units up north. Down goes a flanking Panzerschreck to an equally sizable, well, a more heavily sizable flanking force from DuroSVK, but the Sturm Pioneers in the centre are pushing through pretty heavily. The Assault Pioneers do have the flamethrowers as well, but they are outmatched and going down to 3-star Sturm Pioneers. We do see the Battery Führer in here, as well as no commander, so they must be 2-star Sturm Pioneers to start off with, and Panzergrenz being upvetted to 2 stars as well. It looks like US Prestor John having some having a lot of, I was going to say a lot of luck, but not really luck. He's just brought a much sizable force into that centre area. DuroSVK split up his infantry and is pushing a flank further up north. We do see the first AOP carrier, the first off-map strike come in. We've got the 234/1s. They do discover some rifles. How devastating will this off-map be? I think that's the question, and DuroSVK is going to hope it's going to be mighty devastating. We do see the first 2 IG-18s come onto the battlefield in that centre area to cover off against the centre town, but it's going to be up north where most of the pressure, most of the action occurs. The off-map coming down, those rifles were surrendered. A lot of troops are... In fact, Panzergrenz pushing forwards now over open ground. One of the Sturm Pioneers goes down. Oh, down goes one of the Panzerschrecks as well. We do see a 234/1 go up north with the Sturm Pioneers to try and tackle that infantry. 234s do break forward, break through the light forest, and the 17-pounder out of position. The Churchills are there as well, but the line of sight doesn't help them right now. And these 234s, they will fast move forwards and they are going to catch out DuroSVK's rifles moving over open ground. The Churchill does start to get into position. Humber takes a shot, doesn't get it, and Prestor John's going to have to try and get these 234s out the way. I think they are going to get caught, but I think 2 rifle kills, he may well be happy with that. Yeah, he's going to... Oh, I thought he was going to engage the Humber then, but I think the Churchill came round and he thought better of it. Will these 234/1 survive? Down goes one. Maybe one will survive here. Possibly could. Here comes the Churchill shot. No, it doesn't. Oh, and he almost got that away with that. Panzer, sorry, the Puma coming in at the end as well. I think that was going to take a shot, but it does go down to the 17-pounder as well. And look at Duro's troops. Actually, have gone either side of US Prestor John's force to try and find those flanking units. And we do have a sniper very far up the battlefield, trying to get away with it. Puma coming in here to retake the flag that Prestor John had lost. 12-12. DuroSVK has the income advantage, remember, but his early forces, I would say, pretty heavily defeated by US Prestor John's initial deployment. Prestor John is now going to struggle, I think, to maintain the pressure until we hit B phase. He's then going to get that 180 points of income, and it's all about how much damage he can do in B phase, because once he drops into C phase, Duro's going to be back in the income lead. A couple of Panzerschreck perhaps getting discovered and destroyed. No, I think the Panzerschreck just get away with that. That must have been some greatest escape type motorbike action from those Panzerschrecks there, and they do make it into the forest. Second off map going to come down, but Prestor John's retreated his troops, and actually a really nice little bait play there. He's kept some troops forward to kind of make Duro think his entire force is in that forest. Duro's dropping down that off map, and Prestor John's retreated the troops that he feel are most important here. So nice play. An early a couple of early 25 pounders, 3 early 25 pounders from Duro hitting those IG-18s. Wow, really interesting. And it looks like US Prestor John tried a push here in this centre town, which completely failed. We've got a Focke-Wulf 190 G8 trying to come in and at least stem the tide of the rifles that will soon be pushing forwards. Prestor John in real trouble there now. And the Puma doesn't hold the flag, so for now Duro still has that flag, and he's actually got himself a 15-9. Wow, impressive. Duro is pushing forwards down south, but I don't think he's going to get too far with just a Humber and 2 rifles there. He did discover the battery Führer does destroy that, but I think once the Puma comes into sight, the 234/1, and maybe even when US Prestor John actually realizes he's under attack down south, things will change down there. So early 15-9 for DuroSVK, but I think it's a case of US Prestor John, you know, not controlling his flags with units. In comes an infantry unit that should stem that 15-9, and a rifle unit does go down up north, finally discovered by the 234/1. There is a sniper back here in position. It may well spot, although the line of sight isn't fantastic, so I think Duro needs to move that further back. Very interesting call on the 25 pounders. Really interesting to see those come in so early. It's not something we see too often in 1v1. Some early heavy artillery. I mean, I would call a 25 pounder, I guess, medium artillery. Reinforcing rifles have now come in along with a rifle leader, and yeah, Duro definitely has the numbers advantage here by an absolute country mile. The Churchill does engage and destroy the 234/1. There is a Panzer 4H in there now. The Bofors attacking the Focke-Wulf as it circles overhead, and from nowhere Duro has absolutely smashed his way back into this game. It felt like US Prestor John really had the upper hand early on, but I think that income advantage has paid dividends for DuroSVK, and we are now almost into B phase, but definitely the tide has turned. The tables have turned, and DuroSVK has the 15-9 that he really needs as a Vanguard style income. Although saying that is usually against balanced, I think he'll be pretty happy with the situation right now against Maverick. I think he needs to dig in, hold the positions that he's got. He can look to capture this flag, re-establish a 15-9, but I think from here he needs to kind of dig in and hold for C phase, because that 180 points of income is going to be coming from US Prestor John, and it's going to be coming hard right at DuroSVK's face. So the Panzer 4H is going to engage with the Humber Mark III. Oh, look at that, and it falls. It does go down to the Panzer 4H, but if that had been stressed out as well, the Stern Pioneer would have come in with the surrender. And look how US Prestor John is picking up that flag with that one unit of Stern Pioneers. I feel like that is a that is very unfortunate for DuroSVK. Very unfortunate. He should hold that flag with the weight of forces he has at his disposal right now. 25 pounders still coming in. Those IG-18s did go down, so the 25 pounders, have they paid themselves off? I don't think quite yet, but they certainly done a heck of a lot more damage than I expected at this point into the game. US Prestor John captures the flag down south. We're back to a 12-12 now. Courtesy of picking up the 2 flags in the centre as well. Stern Pioneer picks up a surrender, but more rifles. And look at this commander. Oh, I think Duro's... he'll be okay with that, but I would have preferred it to come down here and unloaded at this point and then walked through the forest rather than come out in front. That could have been deadly. Luckily for Duro it wasn't though. AOP carrier does come back, and I'm really surprised that more players don't use these as recon vehicles because they do have that recon trait. They do also have the radio trait, which pairs very well with the 25 pounder. So I'm kind of surprised, you know, they aren't kept somewhere near the front to utilize as recon or radio vehicles, and they do still, you know, they are a high value target. So even if it's out of artillery charges, the enemy doesn't necessarily always know that. If he sees an AOP carrier, he is going to dispatch a bomber, a fighter. He's going to dispatch something to try and shoot that AOP carrier, usually from the skies as it's quick reaction time. So yeah, I am really surprised that more players don't put them. Once all the charges are used up, they don't use them a little bit more aggressively. Okay, well, a big group of Panzer IV H's in the centre ground. I think US Prestor John's looking to group them together to push them forwards as one, because then if a 6-pounder engages, the weight of fire from, you know, 6 Panzer IV H's should be able to deal with the 6-pounders more effectively than engaging sort of one at a time. I was kind of wondering what was happening here. So the sniper was engaging the Panzergrenz. I couldn't quite tell whether it was the sniper or the 6-pounder that was engaging the Panzer IV H. But no, the sniper was engaging the Panzergrenz in the forest, but I think the Panzergrenz are going to survive here. The sniper might go down this hit. Not quite, maybe another one. I think those Panzergrenz are going to survive. I feel like the sniper is going to go down. It looks like a Typhoon is flying up north, and there are some assault pioneers in here. I think they're going to go down to a fair amount of fire. 25 pounders coming in again to tackle those IG-18s. So we did say that US Prestor John had a nice advantage with those IG-18s early on, and it looks like Duro agreed with us because he has purposefully brought in 25 pounders to target the IG-18s. So maybe I am going to flatter myself here and say that at least I analysed the decks kind of correctly early on. DuroSVK gets his sniper in a much better position here. He can't really deal too much damage. I mean, he's got it on hold fire, so it's there for recon purposes. He's using it to find out what US Prestor John is bringing in. So at least he can buy in some counter units as early as he possibly can, much earlier than seeing the unit already at the front line. But US Prestor John advancing like a mechanized division down south. Look at this play. Just mechanized units pushing across in half tracks with Pumas and SPW234s in armored cars and Panzer IV H's coming in as well. It's lovely to see this kind of mechanized action. Makes it feel like you're in World War II. This is how I imagine the Germans would have pushed in World War II. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see things working as kind of you imagine the divisions are built. Big engagement here between the Churchill 4 and 2 Panzer IV H's at close range. The Churchill loses out, and that's a nice kill for those Panzer IV H's. I'm kind of surprised the 6-pounder isn't engaging here. It is holding fire, and those Panzer IV H's are at max range, but I think with the APCR, Duro could get the kills, so still a little bit surprised. Oh, it is now engaging. It is now engaging. The Churchill 4 is coming in as well. I think maybe he was waiting for the 2-on-1. Down goes one of the Panzer IV-H's. There are other 6-pounders engaging as well. I think Duro would like this central Panzer IV-H to go down. No, it doesn't, and the 6-pounder goes down instead. The Churchill, oh, it is a Churchill 4, so it does have the nice big 6-pounder on it. So, actually, yeah, Duro will be kind of happy engaging that thing at 2-kilometer range. Although it is now out of APCR, so the AP shells only do 115mm damage. That's an interesting battle between the Panzer IV-H and the Churchill at that kind of pen and armor battle. Very interesting. Prestor John has pushed forwards. He's used that Maverick income, although he still has the 12-12. He's gained himself quite a lot of ground in the south, but he's losing out up here in the north, and that's hurting his score. Rifles pushing across in the open. I think they will get rid of the Panzergrenz this time. The sniper didn't do the job, but the rifles will do the job. Prestor John could do with some infantry in here in this kind of position, and I think that might enable him to get the 13-11. Although he's now going to be 13-11 down after the rifles do get rid of the Panzergrenz in that central area. We've got Typhoons down south, maybe a little bit of AA missing from US Prestor John, but Duro hasn't been overly aggressive with the Typhoons early. It's an interesting battle about what happens from this point onwards, because we're almost heading into C phase. I think it's around about 25 minutes that the income changes again, or the overall income situation changes back to being in DuroSVK's favour. But those 25-pounders still taking their toll on the IG-18s. US Prestor John does push forward, sneak the flag here, but there is a Churchill 4 and a 6-pounder on the way. I think that Duro will be able to recapture this position. That Churchill is still vulnerable to the Pumas though, at 100 points of penetration. You know, we're talking, what, 1 kilometer range? Yeah. So they can certainly take out that Churchill. It would be a big kill, and it is a big kill. Wow, very nice. That really will have hurt DuroSVK. Really will have done. I'm anxious to see what is going to happen here, because Duro, it feels like US Prestor John is getting a lot of kills here, but he just does not have the positional advantage. Duro has so many rifle units. I mean, US Prestor John is... Well, Duro is never going to run out of rifles. There's no way Duro would run out of infantry in this game. It's just a case of whether Prestor John can keep his mechanized units alive, because I think Duro would run out of vehicles to support his infantry. And maybe when that happens, none of his infantry is going to have AT capability. I think it's all about the AT guns and the vehicles in this game. Three-star rifles, 2 groups, 8 men in total. One of them does go down to the Panzergrenz. Although, actually, I don't think both were engaging there. The view made it look like both were engaging. But let's have a little look at this battle. The Panzergrenz, I think they engaged with 9 men. The rifles, I think they had 7 men. They are 3-star. Courtesy of the rifle leader and the commander further back. Who is going to win this battle? This is a very interesting contest. Prestor John pushes forward with a massive force into that central area, but the Panzergrenz are going to win out against the rifles, even at 3 stars. So it really is down to numbers. If Duro pushes forwards, only 1 rifle at a time, it doesn't matter how veteran those troops are, they are going to lose out 1-on-1 against the Panzergrenz. Duro has to group his infantry up in those heavy forest situations if he's going to get the kill. But US Prestor John has picked up this flag once again. He has really started to pick off the troops that are in this central town, and it looks like he can push through here and possibly even all the way back to the far side of that central town. The 17-pounder pinned down, and it should go down relatively soon. Targets have switched though. The Panzer IV-H has switched to firing on the rifles. There are more IG-18s in here. I think a couple of IG-18s on this ridge would help Prestor John out. He may be out of IG-18s though. He's used a lot of them. He has used a lot of those IG-18s, and Duro has been constantly firing at them. Okay, so we have just one rifle leader and one squad of rifles left in here. There's no way they're going to survive the onslaught from all of those Panzergrens. There is a new 17-pounder in on the action. It could go down, although the Panzer IV-H could go down as well. An interesting Prestor John backs away from that engagement. Yeah, definitely the right call to back away from that engagement. So he still has this flag down south, courtesy of that Churchill kill, and it looks like the other one did go down as well. The two Pumas that are around here, I think maybe one of them pushed forward. There was a half-track here as well. But if that 6-pounder goes down, we do have a reinforcing Churchill 4. But we've seen at close range, those tanks can go down, and Duro's pushing it into an area where it's going to have engagements at less than 1,000 meters. This Churchill 4 really wants to engage at long range against the Panzer IVs. At short range, you know, those Panzer IVs can do pretty heavy damage, especially if it's like 2-on-1 and with 2-star Panzer IV-Hs as well. Duro doesn't control this northern flag, but I think he is going to take it, and he possibly might even take this northern compound as well. 15-9 to Prestor John though. He's really come back into this game. Obviously the Maverick income has really helped it. We've seen how much impact income has in Steel Division 2. Prestor John had the better start. Duro had the income, flipped it to a 15-9. Prestor John gets more income in B phase, flips it back to a 15-9 the opposite way. But we are now into C phase. From this point onwards, Duro gets a steady 300 points every 10 minutes over Prestor John. Is he going to be able to last long enough though? That is the question. And is he kind of wondering whether replacing some of those rifle units with something else might have been helpful to him? Because I just cannot see him ever using 160 odd squads of rifles. How many is it per squad? I think it's like 10 men per squad. Yeah, and how many did he have? Let's do the maths, guys. Let's do the maths. Okay, so we do have some other squads in there. So we had 165 minus 3, that's 162. Minus 18, that's what is that? 152, 146 squads of rifles. So 1,460 riflemen at his disposal in this 7-kilometer squared area. 1,600 men. And that's not even including the defense group, the assault pioneers and the rifle leaders. That's just the rifle squads. Unbelievable. Prestor John has an 18-6 now. He's captured this ridge. Oh, and taking away those ridge lines are mega important to really take away the sight lines. And we see the Panthers are now appearing onto the battlefield. But it's been a long while. Panzer IV-Hs have been used en masse up to this point. The Panthers come in now to support. But 17-7 for Prestor John. It's looking tough for Duro. I mean, just look at this position down south. Just so many vehicles taking up positions on the ridge lines, or even just hidden further back. Not much infantry down here, just pure vehicles everywhere. And the rifles can't really destroy the half tracks either. This is... well, they can destroy the half track, but they have to get within 50-meter range. I think it's 50-meter range. Every squad gets a grenade that's not shown on the item screen. So they can engage and destroy these half tracks at I think it's 50 meters. But outside of that distance, yeah, they can't destroy them. Down goes another squad, courtesy of the Panzer IV-H, and then a follow-up surrender from the 251/1. And this is looking... yeah, I mean, just look up north. Prestor John can just afford to push his tanks, his half-tracks forwards. He doesn't have to worry about those rifles. He really doesn't have to worry about the rifles. There is a 17-pounder in here, though. And he kind of does have to worry about that, but this thing's on efficient shot from the looks of it. And he's waiting for a shot on that Panther D, but Prestor John isn't moving it forwards at this point. I mean, a 2-star 17-pounder? I would think he has... oh, here we go, here we go. I think it's given the engage order now. Ooh, no, the Panzer IV-H, well, he one-shots that thing. Reloads... realigns, re-aims, but doesn't take fire at the Panther D. Definitely on efficient shot. I still think a 2-star 17-pounder should have a decent... here we go, here's the engagement. It should have a decent chance, but very little suppression on that Panther D. Coming from a 17-pounder. The Panther can't even see. The Panther can't see the 17-pounder right now. US Prestor John backs it away. Oh, I think another shot might get the kill, but he does back it away in time. I'm kind of surprised these Panzergrenz didn't just push directly north to contest against that 17-pounder. 19-5 for US Prestor John. I mean, Duro just has no way to destroy the entire mechanized army that he faces. He has done some damage on the ridgeline from the Churchill 7, but he just doesn't have enough AT on the ground right now, and US Prestor John is exploiting that. Here we go. So I think the Panzergrenz did move up there and did get the 17-pounder kill. That should allow the Panther D to push forward once again. $19-5 to Prestor John right now. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. I mean, there's really no way back for Duro. But he is going to fight to the last of those 1,600 riflemen. He is going to fight to the last 1,600th man. And maybe there's a miracle somewhere. Miracle at Sidels, that he could somehow turn around this game, but it is going to take a miracle. It's absolutely very unlikely that Duro's going to get any kind of result here. Less than a minute left on the clock. The Panther D does now start engaging the Churchill 4 command up on the top side. Duro could push forward and pick up this flag, but there's just so many flags that he's lacking right now. And actually a lot of his rifles have gone down. He has barely any equipment on the field here. 29 seconds left on the clock. Prestor John is going to pick up the victory, and a great Axis versus Allies game we've witnessed today. Really nice mechanized play from US Prestor John. He really exploited the rifle's weaknesses, which is the lack of AT on their rifles and the utter reliance on those AT guns, the 6-pounders, the 17-pounders. If they don't do the job for the rifles, then they could get into a real sticky situation. And a sticky situation they were in today. 31 minutes, 1 seconds. Congratulations to US Prestor John. Picks up the victory against DuroSVK. Commiserations to DuroSVK. In terms of kills and losses, well, it was actually not too far off. Prestor John 3,000 kills to 2,675 losses, but Duro was he had very minimal left on the field, and Prestor John had a hell of a lot of equipment left on the field. So I think Duro's picked up quite a lot of kills just from the expense of Prestor John's units, whereas Prestor John probably killed more, but it was less expensive. Okay, let's have a quick look at those kills. Panzergrenz did do well here against the defense group and the assault pioneers in those initial skirmishes up north. The Stern Pioneer did a great job as well. SPW234 does take down a lot of rifles, and yeah, without AT equipment, those armoured cars did a hell of a lot of damage. Panzergrenz are picking up sort of 3-to-1 kills here, which is what you need from those Panzergrenz. Bear in mind they're 30 points. I think they're 30 points, and the rifles are 15. I'm trying to remember the best of my ability. So yeah, 2 rifles equals the cost of a Panzergrenz. I think they're 15. I might be wrong. I don't know. Don't listen to me because I'm probably getting that wrong. Panther D's on the field at the final stage, and they do start to clear up the Churchills. So yeah, Prestor John picks up the victory. Hopefully you've enjoyed this game. Definitely Axis versus Allies. I know a lot of you like those games. You don't really like, I know a lot of you don't like to see mirror matches, but unfortunately with the league, we do get a lot of mirror matches, so I try and pick out the Axis Allies matches when I can do that, you know, when they are going to be good games to watch. Thanks very much for joining, for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you continue to enjoy these casts. Any comments you want to leave them down below. I pretty much read every comment. I mean, I've not quite got enough subscribers yet that I can't physically read the comments, so yeah, I do read all your comments. And I try to take on board what I can. But there we have it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I am Angry Bird. I will see you next time.